I still remember the moment my life stopped making sense. The wedding invitations had just been mailed. Her dress was hanging in the closet, pristine and untouched. The seating chart was finally finalized after weeks of tense debates. Everything was ready. And then she vanished. 3 days before Emma left for her girls' trip, she kissed me on the forehead and promised she'd be back before the weekend. We were supposed to meet the florist together on Saturday. Instead, I spent that Saturday calling every friend she claimed to be with, none of whom had heard from her. First, I thought something terrible had happened. An accident. Kidnapping. My chest tightened every time the phone rang, afraid it would be the police with devastating news. But the news never came. It was the silence that hollowed me out the most. The disappearance. For 5 days, Emma didn't answer a single call, text, or email. Her parents were frantic. I filed a missing persons report. I scoured her social media, her messages. Everything was empty. The authorities said, "Give it time, maybe she needed space before the wedding." Space. That word gnawed at me. Because if she needed space, why wouldn't she just say so? Then, on the 6th night around 2:15 a.m., my phone buzzed with a message. My heart leapt, finally something. It was from Emma. "I'm okay. I just need some time to think. Please don't worry. I'll explain soon. No, I love you. No, I miss you." Just distance. Cold, mechanical distance. I stared at that message for an hour, my fingers trembling over the keyboard, but I didn't reply. Something wasn't right. The wedding that never happened. The next morning I called her mother. She hadn't received that message. Neither had her father. Emma had cut off everyone. By the 7th day, the venue coordinator called asking for final confirmations. That's when I felt it, that hollow, gut-deep certainty. There was no wedding anymore. Cancelled it. I didn't do it out of anger. I did it because I couldn't stand in front of 200 people, smiling, while the woman I was supposed to marry was somewhere in the world deciding if I was still worth her time. My parents supported the decision. Her parents begged me to wait. But I knew. The silence had already spoken louder than any vow. The return. She came back 2 weeks later. I was in my apartment, boxes half-packed with decorations we'd never use, when the doorbell rang. There she was, sunburned, hair a mess, wearing the same denim jacket she'd left in. And she looked guilty. "Daniel," she whispered. "Can we talk?" I wanted to scream at her, to ask her where the hell she'd been, but my voice came out hoarse. "Inside." She walked in slowly, her eyes scanning the stripped-down living room. The wedding photo samples were gone. The table was bare. It wasn't our home anymore. It was a waiting room for a breakup. "I needed to clear my head," she started. I laughed. It wasn't a nice laugh. "You disappeared, Emma. Vanished. You left everyone terrified, and that's your explanation." Her hands trembled. "I didn't mean for it to be like this. I was confused." "About what?" Snap. "About marrying me." She didn't answer. Her silence was the answer. The uneasy truth. She stayed for only 20 minutes that night, leaving with a promise. "I'll tell you everything. I just need a few days." But I was done waiting. I started digging. I went through our shared cloud drive, the one she forgot I still had access to. That's when I saw them. Photos buried deep in a hidden album. A beach I didn't recognize. Drinks at sunset. And her. Smiling in every picture. With a man I had never seen before. Bearded. Arm draped over her shoulders like he owned her. My stomach dropped. The timestamps matched the week she disappeared. The betrayal. I called her the next day, my voice eerily calm. "Who is he?" She didn't ask who. She didn't even pretend. She just went quiet for a long time, then whispered. "His name is Tyler. I met him 6 months ago, at the gym." My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd pass out. 6 months. 6 months of lying, planning a wedding with me, and sharing hotel sunsets with someone else. "Why?" was all I could ask. "I don't know," she said, tears filling her eyes. It started as a mistake. I thought it was just a fling. But when the wedding got close, I panicked. I needed to know what I really wanted. And it wasn't me, I said, my voice breaking. She cried then, loud, ugly sobs. But I didn't touch her. I didn't console her. Not this time. The fallout. Word spread fast after that. Her parents were devastated. Mine were furious. Friends who had booked flights demanded answers I couldn't give without tearing myself apart all over again. She wanted to work things out. At least that's what she said in her last voicemail. But how do you work out something that was never real to begin with? For weeks, I couldn't sleep in our bed. I stayed on the couch, staring at the ceiling, imagining them together. Her hand in his, her lips whispering the same promises she once made to me. Every corner of that apartment felt like a lie. The worst part one uncovered. 3 weeks later I got an email. It was from a woman named Claire. "I think we need to talk about Emma," it began. "I'm Tyler's girlfriend." My blood ran cold. We met at a small cafe downtown. Claire looked wrecked, pale, dark circles under her eyes. She slid her phone across the table, showing me messages between Tyler and Emma. It wasn't just an affair. It was a plan. They had been planning to run away together, after the wedding. She was going to marry me, take the gifts, the money, the honeymoon, and then decide she had made a mistake and leave, splitting everything she could get her hands on. Claire found out when she saw emails between them about the prenup. How Emma was furious I insisted on one, how she was pushing to have it removed. And when that failed, the trip happened. She didn't disappear because she was confused. She disappeared because she realized her plan was crumbling. The final confrontation. I didn't yell when I saw her next. I didn't cry. I just laid the printed emails on the table. Her face went white. "Who showed you that?" she whispered. "It doesn't matter," I said. "You were going to use me. Marry me for the show, for the money, for the gifts. And then what? Leave me a broken man while you ran off with him." She didn't deny it. She just sat down, buried her face in her hands and muttered, "I didn't mean for it to get this far." I almost laughed again. Didn't mean for it to get this far. She had chosen every step of the path that led here. Moving on. It's been 6 months now. The invitations were never sent back. The venue never refunded a dime. But I'm lighter. The anger faded into something colder. Clarity. I deleted every photo, every message, every trace of her from my life. Claire left Tyler. We still talk sometimes. Not as lovers but as survivors of the same storm. Sometimes late at night I wonder if Emma ever truly loved me. Or if I was always just a placeholder, a stepping stone for her escape. But then I remember the look in her eyes when I cancelled the wedding. Not sadness, not heartbreak, fear. Fear that her mask had finally slipped. The lesson. Betrayal doesn't always come with screaming fights and slammed doors. Sometimes it comes with a soft kiss on the forehead and a promise to be back soon. Sometimes the worst pain isn't the wedding you cancelled. It's the life you almost stepped into. A life built on a lie. I dodged a bullet. And for that I'm grateful.